What's up, everybody? I'm Marcus.
I'm Ryan.
And together,
we are the Northwest Sports Fanatics.
It's that time. America's favorite pastime.
Right.
MLB All-Star Game is among us. Is going to take place
July 15th on Fox, Tuesday.
All right. So the rosters have been set for the National and American League. Me and Ryan going to go over both teams.
Yeah, quick little breakdown of the American League and National League. Get you kind of up to speed if you haven't been watching baseball this season.
Yes, sir. And I'll kick it off in the National League. As I look at the roster, I notice, the Brewers are leading in the National League,
right.
52-37 at the All-Star. They have 4 players representing them.
It's been a long time since they had that many.
Yeah, that's crazy. The Brewers
right.
are relevant. All right, so the starting lineup for the National League, at catcher you have Yadier Molina from the Cardinals.
Right, very solid.
First baseman Paul Goldschmidt, somebody I spoke of on the show before.
Right.
You didn't watch the tape. I told y'all about that. Second base Chase Utley from the Phillies. Third base Aramis Ramirez from the Brewers.
Right.
Great prospect. I really do like him. Shortstop Troy Tulowitzki.
It's a hard one. I got a few hard ones on my side too.
That's tough, and he's from the Rockies out there in Colorado, having a good year. In the outfield, of course, the man,
right,
Andrew McCutchen,
right, one of my favorite players and yours,
from the Pirates. Carlos Gomez,
right, from the Brewers,
another Brewer,
right,
and then you top it all off with Mr. Yasiel Puig,
yeah, from the Dodgers, LA.
It's exciting as a prospect that you're going to see in baseball right now. Then you go to the reserves. You have catcher Jonathan Lucroy from the Brewers, catcher Devin Morosco from the Reds, representing Cincinnati. First baseman Freddie Freeman.
I like him.
He's having a great year. From the Braves.
From Atlanta.
I hate my rivals, so
right.
I won't give him too much clout. All right, second base D. Gordon from the Dodgers.
Right, son of Tom Gordon from the Royals when we were little kids.
Not too many people remember the Flash. That'd be maybe before y'all time.
Right.
All right, you go to second base Daniel Murphy from the Mets.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we have Serlin Castro from the Cubs.
Right. Cubs aren't very good, but they do have a few All-Stars from time to time.
I root for the Cubs every year. Everybody out in Chicago watching. All right, man. Y'all 1 year.
Yeah.
1 year.
We got to get off that World Series curse.
All right. Third baseman Matt Carpenter from the Cardinals. Solid veteran. He's there every year.
Right.
Third baseman Todd Frazier from the Reds.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Outfielders, you go Charlie Blackmon from the Rockies. Then we have Josh Harrison from the Pirates.
Mm-hmm.
Another Pirates on the squad. Hunter Pence from the Giants.
He's kind of one of those guys that you wouldn't maybe think he's an all-star, but he's very clutch when he really needs to come into play. So congrats to him for making the all-star team this year.
And the last outfielder, we're going to go Giancarlo Stanton.
Yeah, Giancarlo Stanton.
Right? Swaggy. I'm so sorry.
Right? Formerly Mike Stanton, but he liked to change his name to Giancarlo, so I'm not sure, why he wanted to do that, but, he is having a great year, and the Marlins are actually pretty good this year. They're not that bad. They're actually playing a little bit better than I thought.
Than they have been the past years. So shout out to the Marlins pitching staff. We got some aces in this lineup here. Zach Greinke.
Right, from the Dodgers. Right, very solid lefty.
Adoris Chapman.
Right.
Hard thrower, 100-mile-an-hour fastball.
Right. Watch out for him. He'll knock your head off.
We got Madison Dujenner from the Giants.
Yeah, Bumgarner. Yeah.
Madison Bumgarner. All right. We have Johnny Cueto from the Reds.
Right.
One of my favorites, Clayton Kershaw.
Right. One of the best in baseball, hands down.
Is we ain't even got to say too much about him. Watch the tape. All right, then you got Pat Nesich from the Cardinals, Craig Kimbrell from the Braves, Francisco Rodriguez from the Brewers, Tyson Ross from the Padres.
Right. A lot of these names that a lot of you may not have heard because they're kind of up-and-coming roster talent, so, don't be alarmed if you don't really recognize a lot of these names. It's not like back when we were younger when you had your Mark McGuires, and your Ozzie Smiths. So these names are going to be a little bit new to even the experts.
And then when you finally get a chance to watch them play, you say, hey, Marcus and Orion told us.
There you go.
All right. Jeff Samardzija from the Cubs.
Right.
And the A's.
Right.
He got traded to the A's.
Yeah, former Notre Dame tight end, right? And then wanted to go to the NFL, but just wasn't maybe good enough to make it. transitioned to a pitcher.
Great story.
Struggled for a few years, got sent down, to AAA, but then finally got traded now to the A's. But the sad thing is they're not going to let him play in the All-Star game because he was going to make it, obviously, as a member of the Cubs, but now he's in the American League for the A's. But that might be a good thing for him because, the A's are kind of a front runner right now for the World Series. So they're just adding that pitching staff just to get one more piece. But shout out to Jeff Samardzija, even though you don't get to play in the game.
Yeah, great job. And then we have, of course, one of my favorites, Adam Wainwright from the Cardinals. I love Adam Wainwright. Julio Teheran from the Braves.
Right.
And last but not least, two more names, Tony Watson from the Pirates.
Okay.
And my only national on the roster, Jordan Zimmerman.
Zimmerman!
Wow.
Right? I mean, it should be Steven Strasburg, but, we might have to wait a year or two before he gets fully healthy.
He's still in development.
But I still love the guy, so don't sleep on Strasburg, But Jordan Zimmerman, shout out to you. That's a great little fit there for him.
That's a nice team. Congratulations to all the players on the National League team. What about in the American League?
All right, so there's going to be some names that are tough to say, but we're going to help each other out because that's what we do. So starting out in the American League All-Stars, we're going to go first-year player, Salvador Perez, for his first All-Star appearance from the Royals.
Wow.
Kind of a new and upcoming talent. Normally you're going to have someone a little bit more solid in that position, maybe like a Wieters, but he's injured.
Yeah.
So I think that he might have been the starter from the Orioles. But shout out to
Royals up and coming, too.
Yeah, they are up and coming.
They're starting to turn things around. They got a few prospects in there.
Right. They haven't been really that good in quite some time since like the Bo Jackson, Brett Saberhagen era. So it's really nice to see the Royals, having some star players. Next player is arguably the best player in baseball right now, first baseman Miguel Cabrera. The Triple Crown winner from a couple years ago. He almost did it last year. Pound for pound, offense, defense, everything. I mean, besides Mike Trout, he is the best in the major leagues. So watch out for him. He is on the Tigers at first base. Second base, my very own Seattle Mariner, Robinson Cano.
Yes.
Right? So he went from the Yankees as an All-Star. I knew he'd make the All-Star team as a Mariner because he is, a future Hall of Famer. He is an All-Star, so shout out to Robinson Cano at second base. And then the old wily vet at shortstop, Derek Jeter. This is his last All-Star game.
Oh, man.
And he's made 9 straight All-Star games. This one's by charity because he is going kind of out on, as this is kind of his last hurrah. But there's only 2 other players to have more consecutive All-Star games for the Yankees, Yogi Berra and Mickey Mantle. So shout out to Derek
awesome,
Jeter.
man.
You are a legend.
One of the greats of all time.
Right. Not only in our era, but all time. One of the best Yankees ever and baseball players ever. So shout out to Jeter. Third base, Josh Donaldson. Now, this is kind of a up-and-coming guy on the Oakland A's. The Oakland A's are rocking it right now, and they got a lot of all-star players on the pitching staff and on the hitting staff. So look out for Josh Donaldson. He's doing big things right now. And then this outfield is ridiculous. No offense to your outfield in the National League, but this is hands down the best. Outfielder number 1, Jose Bautista.
Wow.
Right, the home run smasher. He'll get you 30, 40, 50 home runs. Good on defense on the Blue Jays. People out there in Toronto, Drake, they love him. So shout out to him. Mike Trout. Besides Bryce Harper, the best, let's say it again, the best young baseball player that's playing today. Offense, defense. He almost reminds me of a baby Ken Griffey Jr.
Wow.
He really does it on all ends, and he's amazing. He's amazing. Hands down, if you're going to watch an Angels game, look for Mike Trout, and when he's up to bat, don't go to the bathroom or get a snack. You definitely
don't want to miss that.
Right? It's like watching Bo Jackson when you were a little kid. You're just not going to miss out on that kind of opportunity. So shout out to Mike Trout. And then last but not least on the outfield side, Adam Jones, a former Seattle Mariner, right now of the Baltimore Orioles. And, Orioles are kind of on the up and coming now. They're on the up and up. He's doing great.
He's been doing it for years, man.
Yeah, and he didn't really get his name out there, but then once he started cracking about 20, 30 home runs, then people kind of gave him a little look. So I'm really proud of how he developed Adam Jones.
And a couple Gold Gloves.
Gold Gloves, good at defense. And then the DH, they got another Oriole who is a former Ranger, Nelson Cruz. Okay. So Nelson Cruz had the little, PEDs. Last year had a 50-game suspension, but I think they've forgiven him. He stayed clean to this point, and he's the starting DH for the American League. So that starting lineup, man, that's going to be pretty tough for the National League to match up against.
But the National League, we do got pitching over here.
You do got pitching, and speaking of pitching, let's go to the American League side for pitching. All right, so number 1, we got Dylan Basares from the Yankees. So this guy, he's kind of up and coming, and I don't really know personally a lot about him, but we'll have to kind of see, how he plays. Obviously, they gave him some respect to put him in the All-Star game, so I like him. And then we got Mark Burley, Blue Jays, crafty left-hander that's been in the league for quite some time.
He's still doing it.
Still doing it, right? From when he was on the White Sox, win the World Series till now. And then the Asian sensation, Yu Darvish, right? This guy is 6'5", he's on the Rangers. Just nasty. He can throw about 4 or 5 different pitches, and I already knew he was going to be there. I mean, he's been a phenom since he came to America, and I don't see him slowing down one bit. Sean Doolittle, another kind of new up-and-coming pitcher from the Oakland A's, made the roster. Youth movement is, it's really big. And then we're going to have to shout out back to Seattle. We're going to have to go King Felix.
Of course.
Right? Arguably the best right-handed pitcher in baseball. Obviously, lefty would be...
I second that.
Clayton Kershaw, the lefty position. But King Felix, is raw. He's going to get you under 3 in ERA.
Power, finesse.
Right? And just imagine if the Mariners had some hitting. I mean, the Mariners could actually get maybe second place in the division one day, but they just don't have enough talent usually to do it. But King Felix always brings it. So shout out to King Felix.
Yes,
then we got to go to the Royals. Greg Holland, another kind of up-and-coming pitcher that people don't know about.
They got out there in Kansas City.
Right? So they're starting to come on the up and up. So shout out to you. Next name, Scott Kazmir. Right, from the A's, former Tampa Bay Rays, obviously pitcher. They got rid of him in free agency. A's picked him up. They're building their roster for this World Series run. Shout out to you. John Lester from the Red Sox. Okay. Right, this is a wily vet. He's been, with Ortiz, Big Papi. He's been, on the Red Sox for quite some time. They got rings, you know what I mean? So enough said there. And then we got to go to the Twins to a new kind of up-and-coming pitcher, Glenn Perkins. Okay. Another pitcher I personally don't know a lot about, but I'm going to start watching him a little bit more since obviously he made the roster. And then you got David Price, the OG on obviously the Tampa Bay Rays. Yeah. Nice little lefty, crafty, very highly touted out of high school. Max Scherzer from the Tigers. Yeah. He was probably the best pitcher up to the All-Star game, one of the best of last year. Still doing it, big things, for the Detroit Tigers. And then my favorite pitcher from Japan that they just brought over for the Yankees, Masahiro Tanaka. Now, they paid this guy in Japan $40 to $50 million just to buy his contract out. But I think as of yesterday or the day before, he was leading the league in wins, I think, with 12. So obviously he was worth the money if he's going to get you that many wins and you're playing in the American League. So shout out to you.
It's not too many pitchers that come from overseas,
right?
And they have it, but he has
the it factor. I mean, we've had Hideo Nomo in the past, but Yu Darvish and obviously Masahiro Tanaka, I mean, they're on another level, so shout out to you. And I'm quickly going to go through the reserves very quickly here. So we got catcher Derek Norris from the A's. We got Matt Wieters from the Orioles, which would have been the starter at catcher, but he's injured. So obviously that's why you got Salvador Perez taking his spot. Kurt Suzuki from the Twins, a nice solid player, plays catcher. Is a good solid player that's been in the league for a few years, so I like that pick there. And then Jose Abreu, White Sox. Okay. A nice little up-and-coming player at first base. I like him. Edwin Encarnacion from the Blue Jays. Another name that's been kind of around in the All-Star ranks for a few years now.
He's been doing it for years.
You're right. And then you got Brandon Moss from the A's. God, the A's just got so many players. I mean, is this roster all A's?
I think so.
Right? And then that's at first base. Second base, Jose Altuve for the Astros. Third base, another Mariner. I mean, I got to say it. Kyle Seager. You know what I mean? Okay. The lefty from North Carolina. He came in with Dustin Ackley. Yep. People thought Dustin Ackley was going to be the better player, but Seager has been most consistent. Yeah. And I'm really, really proud to see Kyle Seager make that All-Star team, even if as a reserve, even if he only plays one at-bat, maybe one out. I really am proud to
see him out there.
To see him out there, right? And speaking of another former Mariner, Adrian Beltre, right, on the Rangers, probably one of the best third basemen that we've seen in the last 15 years. Very solid, good hitter, and good defense. I like him. Alexi Ramirez from the White Sox at shortstop. Okay. A nice, good, solid defender, very underrated. Michael Brantley from the Indians at outfield. Yoenis Cespedes from the A's. You saw him in the You saw him in the home run derby last year. I mean, he was knocking it out of the park.
That's my guy.
Right? And then you got Alex Gordon on the Royals, another Royal player we're going to mention. And last but not least, Victor Martinez for the Tigers at DH. So I don't know who's going to win this game this year.
Of course.
The rosters are pretty even.
National.
But I don't know, man. American League has got some good hitters, so we're going to have to see which pitching staff can dominate and take over. But that is our little wrap-up
the
All-Star Game. Make sure you stay tuned July 15th on Fox. A lot of the names are hard to say, but guess what? If you stay tuned and watch, you will learn.
Northwest Sports Fanatics.
Stay tuned. Next video up soon. Northwest Sports Fanatics. Let's go, Mariners.